Now we're going to start our unit on polynomials. Some different characteristics of polynomials include having constants, having variables, and having exponents. These polynomials can be combined using any operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. But something that makes it not a polynomial might be dividing by a variable or having an exponent that is not a whole number or zero. For example, if you have an exponent that's like 1/2 or -2, those exponents mean it's not going to be a polynomial. So here is just a bunch of different expressions. I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure out which of these are polynomials and which ones are not. Alright, hopefully you have paused the video by now, so let's look at the answers. Here is a list of all of those expressions that are polynomials. We have something times x, we have a variable squared and other coefficients, we have some variables that are being multiplied, we have a binomial, and we have some constants. We can have a number that has a square root or an exponent that's not an integer, or that's not a whole number, but not with a variable. So here, x to the 1/2, we cannot have a fraction as an exponent to make this a polynomial. Square root of x, that's the same thing as x to the 1/2, so we can't have any roots. This one, 1 over x, we can't divide by a variable. Again, 2 over x plus 2, can't divide by a variable. And these last two have negative exponents. We can only have positive or 0 for our exponents as whole numbers. Nothing negative, no fractions. Some vocab. We have this thing called the degree of a polynomial. That is the degree of the term with the highest exponent. The standard form of a polynomial has the terms in order from greatest degree to least degree. The leading coefficient is the very first number, is the coefficient of the first term when you're written in standard form. It has to be in standard form. If your degree is 0, we call that a constant. If your degree is 1, we call that linear. A degree of 2 is a quadratic. All of these we've seen before. Then some kind of new stuff might be a degree of 3 being a cubic. A degree of 4 is called a quartic. A degree of 5 is called a quintic. And then a degree of 6 or more, we just call it by that number. 6th degree, 7th degree, 8th degree, and so on. Now, based on the number of terms, you can also have a different name. If there's only one term, we call that a monomial, mono meaning one. 2 terms is a binomial. 3 terms is a trinomial, all of those we've seen before. And then 4 or more, we just call it a polynomial. We don't have any specific names on 4 or more. In these examples, we're going to rewrite each polynomial in standard form, then determine the leading coefficient, degree, and number of terms. In standard form, we need our degrees to go from highest to lowest. So the highest degree here has a 3, so we're going to start with that x cubed. Then I see an x squared, so minus x squared. Then I see a 2x, we've got plus 2x, and minus 5. That one has a degree of 0. The leading coefficient here, the number that's in front of this x cubed, is a 1. The degree is the highest degree of this polynomial, which is 3. That would make it a cubic. The number of terms, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, which would make it a polynomial. So this is a cubic polynomial. 5x squared plus 3x to the 4 minus x. In standard form, our highest degree is the term with 3x to the 4th. Then the next lowest, or the next highest, we've got 5x squared, and then minus x. The leading coefficient here is 3. The degree, the highest exponent, is 4. That would make it a quartic. And the number of terms is 3. That would make it a trinomial. So this is a quartic trinomial. Number 3, in standard form, we're just going to switch those two around. So we have 7x to the 5th plus 6x cubed. The leading coefficient is 7. Degree of 5, making it a quintic. And there are 2 terms, making it a binomial, a quintic binomial. Finally, putting it in standard form, the highest degree I see is x to the 4th. Then we have minus 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus x plus 8. Leading coefficient is 1, degree is 4, so we have another quartic. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, so it is a polynomial, a quartic polynomial. This one only has one term, so it is already in standard form. 6m cubed p squared. The leading coefficient is 6. Now, for the degree, if you have two variables that are side by side, we're going to add their two exponents together. These two variables are being multiplied, so we're going to add their exponents. So we have a degree of 5 here, making this a quintic. And like I said earlier, there's only one term, so it is a quintic monomial. In number 6, there's only one term. That term is 6. The leading coefficient is 6. There are no variables, so our degree is 0, making it a constant. And there's only one term, so it's a constant monomial.